We move forward? Oh, it goes that way. Right. What we're doing, I've got 5 years' money from EBSERC to create something we're calling the Cambridge Cloud Cybercrime Centre, and there's some wonderful mission statements on there, but I'll tell you what we're really doing. Right. Currently, I get lots of data about cybercrime, which I get by signing NDAs with people who hold appropriate data, and then I do use that data to do research. What we want to do is to collect the same data, but instead of getting it under an NDA, I want to collect it under a DA, which allows me to redistribute it to other academics so that they can do research on cybercrime. I don't want to make the data public. I can't do open data because this is sensitive data. The people who have the data are happy to give it to academics in general. They don't want to give it to their customers because their customers have to pay for it. They don't want to give it to their competitors or to startups, and they don't want to give it to the criminals because the criminals will reverse engineer it and work out where the holes are in the data collection and so forth. But getting the data to academics is really useful because academics can then invent new ways of using machine learning, using analytics, using heuristics or whatever in order to pick out cybercrime faster, better, more accurately, develop new ways of stopping it which actually work in the real world rather than in the ivory towers. And there's nothing like being exposed to real data to understand what the real problems are. So what we want to do is build a catalogue of data that can be used for this research, and we want in particular to make it easier to set work for PhD students and in particular MSc students, because MSc students basically work on a one-year schedule, and if you're in a position that if you want to research something, it takes you 2 years to learn who has the data to sign the NDAs, and then it takes you 6 months to learn how to scrape websites in order to be able to collect the stuff, then that makes a real mess of your machine learning MSc if it's taken you 2.5 years of your 8-month time frame in order to actually get any data to work with. And in particular, we want to see more science. I pretend to come from a computer science department, and science is about replicating experiments. At the moment, everybody who does research on cybercrime does it under bespoke bits of data which they've collected under NDAs. They can't share with anybody else. Nobody can repeat any work at all, and therefore you just have to trust the original academic you get that they've got it right. And I'm one of those academics, and from time to time I get it wrong. So, would you like to play? Right, this is part of the reason I'm here to give a pitch. Talk to me about the sort of data sets you have which relate to cybercrime, or what you wished that we were looking at. Right? Can you share your data sets? Do you have data which is relevant to cybercrime, which you're collecting off your platforms, off your hosting companies, off your networks, or whatever? Can you share it with academics? I have a lawyer who started yesterday as a postdoc lawyer who will help you understand how we can do this legally, right, so that we can deal with the issues to do with data protection, to do with PII and so forth. We can deal with things for dealing with your reputation, right, because if you give us data, then some academic may measure it and say, my goodness me, there appears to be much more cybercrime going on Fred's hosting company than on everybody else's hosting company because Fred is giving us the data. Right? We can hide this away, we can sort this out, we can address these issues for you. Right? So basically, what we're here to do is to find new ways to prevent crime, new ways to detect and deter the criminals, and that's why the EBSERC is funding us. That's why I hope that you'll see what we're doing may actually be useful in the future, and I'd be absolutely delighted if you have data. Could you come and help? There's the URL. You'll find a fine web page on there which doesn't have very much data, not much information yet because we're just really getting going, but please help us. So that's my pitch. Thank you.
Not seeing any questions for Richard.
Any questions? Any volunteers to give me data? NetFlow, BGP data, hosting sites, phishing websites, all sorts of stuff like that.
Text messages from Amazon.
Spam. I'm also interested in spam.
I'll send you all my traffic from Equitel.
I'm interested in DDoS If you have problems with DDoS, come and talk to me. I may be able to tell you something about what's happening to you, because I have a lot of data on DDoS. I'm looking for people to help out in terms of measuring this better and more accurately. And I think that's probably a topic which is dear to many of your hearts.
Okay, thank you, Richard.